I haven't spoke to them.
This is the Ring of Honor, a.k.a. Shane T, boy, the baddest champion you ever seen, boy.
This is Mr. Anderson.
This is good old JR Jim Ross, and you are listening.
You're listening to Knockouts and 3 Counts.
Cover! We got a new world champion!
That might be one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Knockouts and 3 Counts is the podcast, baby! It's the real deal, baby!
Knockouts and 3 Counts starts now.
Ooh, what up, though? It is another Tuesday. I'm stuck in the house. Corey's stuck in the house. J-Bone's stuck in the house, but it's a good time to be stuck in the house because we've got our favorite French Canadian Frankenstein in the house. Our buddy PCO, fresh off of GCW versus the world at Hammerstein in New York. How are you doing, brother, man?
Hey, I'm doing great. I just came back yesterday, so it was a hell of a tour for me. What I did Chicago for GCW on the 15th, and then I flew direct to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So because it's so cold in Canada, so I stayed there for a couple of days, trained like a madman, trained like crazy at Crunch Fitness and Tamarack, and also I got ready for the weekend with Friday, Saturday. I think it was the 21, 22nd with the Impact Wrestling TV tapings. And the next, didn't sleep much after that because, we always end up finishing at 11:30 or around that time. By the time you shower, we get back to the hotel. It's time to go to the airport. Had to be in New York early in the day for the first time ever GCW at Hammerstein Ballroom. Sold out. So it was very intensive 10 days, 11 days on the road. Yeah.
Well, it sure as hell sounds like it, number one. Number two, you said I saw you training at Crunch Fitness. So number three, when I get to Dallas, hell, maybe we'll have to get a workout in when I get to WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Hell yeah, man. But tell me about that, dude. So, number one, I didn't realize until I was listening to the commentary at the GCW show this past weekend. I didn't realize that your whole time you were gone in Ring of Honor, that you were the ultra-violent, was it the ultra-violent champion or the extreme champion for GCW?
Extreme champion.
Right. So tell me a little bit about that, man. You came back. I know you just lost the belt to AJ Gray, but I mean, shit, dude, that's a long-ass title reign, number one. And number two, tell me about coming right back to GCW after leaving Ring of Honor.
Well, the thing is that when I sent in my notice to Ring of Honor, it was the weekend where I think we were in Philly, and Brett, the owner of GCW, Brett Lauderdale, was there at the show. So we hooked up and we went for dinner together, and we had planned out a few dates, and that's how I got hooked up with GCW for a certain amount of dates. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought, I said this as soon as you came back out when you got out from Ring of Honor. I mean, when I saw that GCW was going to be one of the first stops you were making outside Ring of Honor, I mean, talk a little bit about, we talked about GCW Hammerstein. I mean, how big was it for you not only to have just debuted over there at Impact, which I want to talk about that in a little bit, but to come right back out and be on what a lot of people are calling like the biggest independent wrestling show of all time. What was that like for you to leave Ring of Honor and then be so coveted when you got out that you're already in such a high profile spot on such a big show as soon as you're getting out of Ring of Honor?
Well, I never had a doubt in my mind that I wanted to move forward and I wanted to accomplish incredible things in this business. And I felt like with Ring of Honor, I felt that everything was pretty flat when I decided to send in my notice. It's the fact that we were so cautious about health and to make sure that nobody was going to get COVID and things like that. And we knew just a little bit about COVID back then, like 2 years ago. So we went full protection and nobody watching our shows live. And I think we started to lose traction. And then I felt like, okay, I gotta make a move here to just to be somewhere where things is happening and where I can make a difference. So GCW, the timing was perfect, and felt great at the Hammerstein ballroom there. Yeah, it was great. It was like it was really. People were like super pumped, super jacked. Everybody was wild. The boys, I didn't feel no stress, so I felt like they knew what they had to do, and they felt good about it. They were certainly proud of it, but I didn't see any stress because it was such a high-profile show, though. Like everybody was like super intense and super relaxed.
Well, J-Bone, I know you were watching the show. What were your thoughts on the ladder match?
Man, that was intense, especially for an opener, dude. Like, what the hell? There's so many bodies flying around, especially you, man. You take big bumps out there. But what was it like out there, the atmosphere, just having all that chaos at the Hammerstein of all places? You've been there before.
Yeah.
For somebody that's coming in there, man, I know it was a big moment.
They said it was the largest crowd, too.
Yeah. Just explain the feeling it was just to be in front of all those people with the new generation of guys, man, and just all that chaos in one ring.
It's hard to explain. It's like I've done, in Montreal for them. I've worked on top of the bill. Like I main event WWE before on numerous house shows and numerous big events. And I was in Madison Square Garden in 2019, sold out.
I was there.
Yeah, so it's almost easier for a wrestler to work in front of such a crowd than it is to work in front of less people, or because everything you do means something. Everything you do that is impactful impresses the crowd because they're already hot. They're waiting for it. They're enthusiasm is like transmitted to each other, and it's a wonderful opportunity to be wrestling in front of a crowd like that. So it makes our job easier, so much easier. So it's just like it's not stressful. It's just like fun.
It's fun.
Yeah,
one of those times where the adrenaline probably just takes over everything, man. Pardon the pun, but literally electricity running through your body.
Yeah, it is, but it also, like, sometimes flying out the same day of the show and having no sleep and being there like at 3 or 4 p.m. and doors opening at 6. It's like, okay, the guys have already kind of talked, and you're joining late, so you're going to have to do things that's going to get you out of your comfort zone, things that you haven't tried before or never done before. So that adds up to the performance. It's like I hate doing stuff I've never done before. So especially on a big show like that, but it all went like everything went perfectly. So everything came out like perfectly. But sometimes I was like on the inside, I was like, I don't like that,
It's a dangerous match, man.
Yeah.
Well, I imagine some.
Go ahead, Corey. I was actually about to ask you, because with GCW, with you being such a big fan of GCW, you're the perfect person to ask this. With the difference in the locker room you see there in GCW, so I'll leave that one for you, Corey.
Well, what I was actually going to ask is, at this stage of your career, you bring up that you don't necessarily like doing too many new things. There can't be too many new things left to check off that list at this point, I could imagine, huh?
Oh no, I mean just standing up on the top rope and bringing a ladder up and turning it away and doing the doomsday with the ladder when you never practiced it. It's not something that you're gonna go in the ring every morning and I'm gonna use that ladder, take it from that side on for the horizontal to the vertical and jump with it. It's not something that you practice every morning,
You
A
can't
lot of
teach
other
that.
things you can, get on the ropes, practice,
Right.
going up for moonsault practice, going up for moonsault on the outside practice, going up the ropes, up and down, ups and down, second to third, the turnaround, walk the ropes. That you can practice a lot. But with a ladder, you don't really practice that. So it's a one time. You must do it, and you must do it right. So that's what I meant by
A
that comment.
true hit or miss situation.
Yeah, yeah. Or
Hey
do it
man, that
right.
shit looked dope. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
just throw it out
definitely.
there. I would say Hawk and Animal would be proud. Just saying.
Or even like giving a package pile driver to someone on a ladder.
Ooh.
That's
Yep.
that's something that I was very very comfortable with because I've done it before. But you tell your opponent he's going to be fine if he does what you tell him to do, like which is tuck your head in.
Mm-hmm.
But it's on a ladder. There's no
Yeah.
way you're not going to feel a single thing. Of course, you're going to feel something. So it's the willingness of, for the sake of the show, yeah, you're going to take, and I do take a lot of bumps and bruises, for the sake of the show. So it's things like that, but it's just to promise someone that, everything's going to be all right. So that those things, it's things that you can't practice either. It's a one-time deal. It's you do it because it's the biggest indie show of all time, basically, and it's just a crazy night, and you just want to get them such
Something to remember.
a moment. You want to give them a moment where they go, "Oh my God, this is totally insane." So. Yeah.
Well, my thing with that, and it's funny you say, and I mean that brings to a question I had, like, with you having a match like that, and like you said, it's not the first time you've had a ladder match. It's not the first time you package pile drive somebody on a ladder. You've done a lot of these things, but you're in a locker room in GCW where you guys have got such a wide array. I mean, on that card, you had everybody from guys from AEW to guys like yourself that have been everywhere, to Moxley, who was just AEW champ. I mean, and then you've got Effie and Allie Catch and everybody that was on there. Tell me a little bit about that locker room. How does GCW and like the feel of it in the locker room kind of differ from other places you're at? And Donald, I see you in the comments. I'm going to ask that in just a few minutes.
Well, the locker room doesn't really differ from any other locker room. It's because I don't even feel like I'm part of the core of GCW yet. I'm around the core. I'm close to the core, but the core is to me is like AJ Gray. It's Alex Colon. It's Effie. Those guys, the Matt Trimmer, the Nick Gage, the guy that's been there since day one, basically, or almost since day one. So that's the core of GCW, and GCW is used to have different superstars, navigating around this core and to help, create some other buzz elsewhere. So other than their audience, their core audience. So it adds a little bit more to the casual fans. So I think that's what the purpose of the Hammerstein was, to add more casual fans that might become core fans eventually.
Well, and that's a great point because Corey's first two big shows he got to go to. So we went to Chicago for GCW War Games. First big show I took him to, we went to night one. We're over there at GCW War Games, which is all on one end of the spectrum. Then we went the next night when CM Punk come back at AEW, and it's funny, even getting to be in the arena for such a big show like that. He said multiple times on this show, GCW was the one that he enjoyed more just because of the rawness, the overall excitement of it. That I think is the thing that sets GCW apart. But with that being said, you mentioned AJ Gray. Is getting that strap back from AJ Gray something that's on the agenda in the near future as far as GCW goes?
Yeah, I'd like to go up the ladder with GCW. I mean, there's a lot of dream matches that I'd like to have there. Uh,
Anybody in
I want
particular?
to. Well, of course, Mox would be one. Maybe a great featured match with Gage eventually could be one too. For me, it always depends on the timing. How things evolve and what leads to this matchup. It's going to become organic. It's not something that you can plan ahead. Something happens, something happened, and then it becomes organic, and then it becomes the picture that wow, everybody's seeing it. So that's why it's hard for me to say names with
Yeah.
dream matches, because to make the greatest dream match ever, it's got to be organic. You can't really plan it. If you plan it, it probably won't be as good as it should be. If it happens for different reasons and because of timing situation and life situations, and it becomes so organic that people are involved and are talking about it and wanting it. Of course, the only thing that the promoters have to do at that point in time is to say, look at the picture like everyone else and say, that goes together and that's the match and that's the way it's going to be. Just the example, me and Walter, was organic. It's Walter was building up like crazy his career on the indie scene in PWG. Joey had seen me in Black Label Pro against Ethan Page, and in his mind that clicked, and it was nothing planned really. I just clicked in his mind when he saw my match. In his mind, that was the perfect matchup. It just happened. It's not something that was planned 2 years before time or 6 months before time. It was on the go.
Well, I like it, and I totally get what you mean. I see all of you guys in the comments. What up, Sophia? Some of your fellow countrymen from over there, country women, excuse me, are watching us from over there in Canada. So what up? We appreciate you guys, and we see you over there on Twitter. If you haven't already done so, follow us at KO3C Pod. But Donald, you've been in the comments for a minute, shooting out these questions for PCO. So I'm going to get to a few of these before I get to my next point. Now, one of the things I was talking about before we hit the go live button was that a lot of people were saying that they wanted to see you back in ICW, back in the chains. Donald has chimed in with a couple suggestions of people that he'd like to see you against. So, first of all, what are your thoughts on the ICW No Holds Barred deal? And what are your thoughts on would love to see Justin Kyle versus PCO in the Pit or the Chains?
Yeah, I've heard that match many times over. So yeah, maybe if the opportunity is offered to me, that might be something that would be interesting to do. I do, I like to do the chains and things like that. If I do a ultra-violent or whatever death match or something like that, it would be one-off. I might have one that I would like to do, depending on the event. I wouldn't do it in front of 250 people or 500 people.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I do one, it's going to be for a hell of a show. It would be worth it. Because I always said I didn't want to go that direction because I don't want to be labeled as just a guy that can do stuff like that. I want to do proper wrestling matches and that's it, you know. But if there's an opportunity to do something ultra big, you know, I will think about it for sure. But the chains has not been writing off, you know. It's a matter of like I had so many dates booked. Danny offered me a couple of other dates. Danny Demento offered me a bunch of dates, but I was already booked. So it's just a matter of having my scheduling free, and right now I prioritize Impact Wrestling over any other bookings. You know, I had to cancel a few just to just to make sure I'm there all the time and be part of the storylines, and that's something that I really really enjoyed. Like to me, they've been so pro. It's been a hell of a change. I don't know. The wind has been changing side, I guess. I don't know. There's something big coming up with Impact Wrestling right now. Like we could feel it. We can feel it. It's awesome in the back. That's awesome. The management is incredible. All of
Well,
the
what was it that
ingredients.
made you pick That's As Good As Any? I mean, that was something I wanted to talk to you about. I mean, what was it that made, I mean, you guys made a hell of a splash. I mean, it was you know, Maria, past guest of the show, Mike Bennett, you know, you had Vincent and Matt Taven all showing up at Hard to Kill, making a fucking impact, no pun intended. But, you know, you guys came out and made a hell of a splash right away. I mean, why Impact? And you talked a little bit about, you know, you feel like there's just something in the air. I agree. I've said on this show multiple times, Corey's heard me say this. I've said it for a long time. I believe that Impact has the best women's division in wrestling right now. I've been a big fan of what Impact's been doing for a while. I mean, like I said, Scott Demore, all you guys, if you hear this, come on over. But like I said, why Impact, and what is it that makes you guys so excited about the future for Impact Wrestling?
Just the way that everything is rolling. I mean, the way that things are laid out, and the way that everything.
Nope.
Oh, he froze. Uh-oh. Hang on. PCO froze out. Gotta love them technical difficulties. You gotta love it. You there, sir?
I would say not yet.
No, I'm just trying to. I thought I heard him say something.
We lost him.
We lost him, but in the meantime, let's react a little bit to what we've been seeing over here. What are your guys' thoughts on what we've heard so far with PCO as I tried to get everything back in order? What are your thoughts on him switching over to Impact Wrestling?
I mean, it's huge for his career, right? It's a real chance for him to reinsert himself, and like he even started to get to a up and coming promotion that really has their. It seems like the wind is behind him. To his note, it seems like they have the ability to do nothing but grow at this point, and with him jumping in at the perfect time, it's a win-win realistically.
Yeah,
I completely agree. Here he comes. All right.
Speaks volumes to his work, man. I mean, he's a professional.
All right, we got him back.
I don't know. I don't know why.
Technical difficulties, brother, man. Yeah. It's all good.
Had nothing to do with it. Seriously.
No, it's all good, dude. We've been dealing with this ever since.
Yeah, pandemic. I guess I was like, am I talking in the space or what?
Can't trust the damn technology these days.
No, but you were just getting into telling us why Impact, and why you believe, you know, why you guys are so excited about.
Okay, yeah, it's very professional. I like all the producers, agents, everybody that's on working there, from Scott Demore, D'Lo Brown, and all agents and everything. Gail Kim, everything is so organized. The creative team is awesome. Jimmy Jacobs and a bunch of other guys are doing fabulous jobs. And I feel like they're they're using guys like there's a structure, like I'm gonna look like if you look at Vince, he's using probably 5 or 6 guys on top all the time. The five or six same guys all the time. That's the main guys. That's how he works. And if you're looking at AEW, every week there's a new wow, boom, 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 wow, boom, 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 another name, another name, another name, another name. But structure wise, where the storylines are going, it seems like their concern is to get a big wow every week, So that's how I see it from my perspective. And then you got Impact where, they're creating storylines, building interest, building up some characters, building up some names, and carrying over with their ideas and making sure that everybody gets over and then that the idea is getting over. The buildings are always, full to their capacity. Production is unbelievable, super professional. So I just think probably right now Impact is it's probably the place to be, one of the place to be at least.
Storytelling, man. That I say it all the time. Storytelling is so important in wrestling, dude. So
Yeah.
important.
Well,
Yeah.
and I couldn't agree more when it comes to Impact because, even with what you're talking about with all of you guys coming in from Ring of Honor, I mean, I love the fact that you mentioned with Vince, there's 5, 6 people on top. They also don't really acknowledge other people's past outside of there. The fact that right off the rip, they're saying, these are all guys and girls from Ring of Honor. And then you've got Jonathan Gresham in there defending the Ring of Honor title.
Yeah.
I like that it's still also, is playing, is also giving credit to where you guys came from, but it's also giving you a whole new look as you guys come into Impact. With that being said, do you plan on, are we going to see more of you, Mike, Maria, Vincent, and Taven together, or are you ready to like bust out and do your own deal? What do you think?
I think we got to stretch that as far as we can, and let everything be organic. I'm really strong on that word and on that state of organic things. So when the people are asking for it, and I think at one point and one time, with one organization at least, it will be time for PCO and Destro to bust out and do their things and to go full-fledged French Canadian Frankenstein, the whole 9 yards, from entrances, to straight to the finish. Would have to be 100% French Canadian Frankenstein eventually, and that's something that you cannot go around it or you cannot escape. It's gotta have to happen, And somebody would have to give it a try to go, full-fledged with it, because there's so much money to be made with that. We haven't even touched 10% of the untapped potential of this character and gimmicks right so far. So we're just on the surface of it. I've been running for 5-6 years on the surface of it, and we haven't tapped into the full potential of that. So that being said, it will have to be coming from some creative people. We do have a lot of creative things in our minds, me and Destro, and we'll have to bang heads with other very creative people. But there's some money to be made.
Are you still doing the Monday Night PCO and Destros every week?
Well, we're going to start a new series of Guinness World Record. That's what the goal is. It's because of my scheduling, it's different than with Ring of Honor. I knew ahead of time every dates and every city where I was going to be, so we could plan out a lot of things more. But now it's like bookings is coming left and right, from different indies as well. as the dates that, like I said, they're super organized. In fact, I have all my dates ahead of me on time, so I know where I'm going with them. It's just that there's left and rights bookings coming up too all the time.
I like it. I can't wait to see him. I mean, like I said in past episodes, if you guys are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, all the comment buttons. You can see the past episodes with PCO, everybody's favorite French Canadian Frankenstein. I mean, we go a little bit ways back now, man. Like I said, now that's another thing. As we go into WrestleMania weekend and stuff like that, like I said, it'll be dope down there in Dallas. We'll definitely have to link up. But another thing I wanted to ask you about, you talk about how Impact has been very innovative. I'd love to know, with you being somebody who's worked with Vince and worked with Ring of Honor and worked with all these places, I'd like to know, what are your thoughts on Mickie James getting to be part of the Rumble as Impact champ? And can you speak a little bit to what your thoughts are as far as like how big of a deal it is? Because for me, I don't recall there ever being someone else's champion inside the Royal Rumble and them acknowledging that she's their champion. So to me, I think it's a pretty cool thing. I just kind of wondered what your thoughts are with your experience.
Yeah, very very enigmatic, very surprised, because like you said it before, like not too long ago, like Vince doesn't acknowledge indie workers, like not saying that Mickie was with them before she was Impact wrestling champion, and not saying like Impact's not an indie company. Impact is a proper, long time running, well-known company. But like
WWE's the
Matt
big
Riddle, whatever names there, Ricochet, Kevin Owens, or Sami Zayn. It's like they were in WWE and they just popped out in WWE. It's like they like to pretend that nobody has a pass, or nobody came from somewhere, or nobody came from PWG. They don't want to mention their names. They're trying to find now guys that are, not wrestlers, that they are probably amateur wrestler or football players or doing other sports, and transmit the passion of pro wrestling to those guys that's not their priority. Instead of people who grew up since 10, 9, 8 years old and wanted to be part of WWE or be a pro wrestler, and you take all those guys out of the equation and you don't talk about their past and you don't acknowledge their past. And at least, AEW, they brought Nick Gage, saying he's the king of death matches, against Jericho, which I think this is super smart and super good. I think that's super creative. Just taking guys and telling the real story of those guys, where they were at, what they did, where they accomplished in the business with such and such companies. I think you cannot always say it's all WWE. So for me now, saying that Mickie James is the Impact Wrestling Women's Wrestling champ, I mean, that's unheard of. That's unbelievable. That's a great step in a good direction. I don't know the whys and hows, but
it's pretty cool.
It is what it is.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
No, but I mean, I think you said it perfectly. I mean, because that was what I was trying to, it was funny. I was just talking about this with Devin, which when you see this, Devin, you've now got a free ticket to WrestleMania, so you have no excuse to not go in Dallas, you son of a bitch. Anyway, with that being said, we were talking about this before the show. Like when that was announced, man, like I racked my brain trying to think. I could never. The only other time I ever remember there being somebody else's champion inside WWE was when Taz had the ECW belt, but everybody knows that was really to help ECW out because of the whole Mike Awesome thing. So, like I said, I mean, it's never happened. It's unprecedented. Plus, for it to happen now, I mean, hell, you're going into Dallas. I mean, it'd be a hell of a time to try to induct Mickie to the Hall of Fame. Who knows? Maybe that's where they're trying to go with that. But
yeah. Go ahead.
No, cool. No, I was just saying, like I said, it's cool to see.
Yeah, it's very cool to see, and a lot of people are thinking now on Forbidden Doors. It's open and things like that. So it creates like dream matches in their mind, and it gives them hope that eventually, I got that question so many times in the past 2 weeks. Since Nikki was added, like, are you going to be part of Royal Rumble? My messenger feed is full, of questions like that. If am I going to be a surprise for the Royal Rumble? But
I mean, I'd like to see it.
What,
It'd be dope.
I'd love to see it. I'm with it.
That's what it is. It has created. That's pretty cool.
Well, speaking of the Royal Rumble, I mean, you worked with WWE. I mean, what are your thoughts on the Royal Rumble? Any favorite Royal Rumble memories or any of that kind of stuff? Were you a fan of the Rumble?
Yeah, I like the Rumble. I think it's very exciting. I think every time the horn beeps and there's a new faces coming in, like it's a pop, and then it creates good storylines. It's a place where a lot of stories emerge, and a lot of new stories emerge, and new storylines, and it's a huge creative, new ideas and new things. It's a great platform to create new rivalries and all kinds of things.
You were in the Rumble in your time in WWF, right?
Well, I was part of the Rumble, like I did the Quebecers versus Bret and Owen Hart, and that led up to Bret, splitting with Owen, and Owen turning heel, and Bret, winning eventually.
One of the nights my heart was broken.
Yeah, something like that. The Black Heart, whatever.
Hey, speaking of another time my heart was broken, one time you stole Brett's jacket. Don't think I forgot. I remember.
Yeah,
this.
of course. Yeah,
I remember this. I forgive you now. I forgive you now because you're cool. But
yeah, that's a great memory. Yeah, but Brett didn't like that idea. He said if he would steal my jacket, I'd get another one done. But
he didn't like the idea.
I said, Brett, come on, Brett. If I play hockey with the same skate for like 10 years and you stole my skate before a very important game, I'd want to slice his throat up. I mean, because it's molded to your feet, it brings you like that vibe that you feel secure, and they're formed for you and they're there for you, and it means a lot. So it depends from where you're looking at an angle. For some people it makes sense, for others it doesn't. But when I do explain it in my mind, I think it was a great angle. I think he should have played it more like he's pissed off, like in a way where it's part of his routine before his wrestling match. The jacket is part of the luck, because every super athlete has like a routine that puts them in their bubble, and they have to have a certain, or they put their left socks before their right socks, and the left skate or left boots, and so on, and they put different parts of their equipment before. That usually doesn't go in order like that. But if they're on a scoring sequences, or having thrown a lot of touchdown passes in certain way where they were dressed up, or they had their shirt inside of out, they'll keep doing it. So I think that there was a lot of meaning in that stealing.
Did you get to keep the jacket? Or did you have to give it back?
Had to give it back.
Damn. See, I'd have said I lost that bitch. That's what
that would have been super sick.
Oh, dude, he would have
the red jacket on my wall of fame at home.
Shit. I mean, if you're gonna keep something, I mean, that would be a pretty damn cool thing to keep. I'm just saying. I'm not telling you to be a thief or nothing, but damn.
I remember as a kid that was like the thing, right? He would go in the front row. He would go in the front row and take the glasses off the kids in the front row and stuff them in his singlet. I'm like,
yeah, man, I should have kept the glass. I should have kept, and I should have kept a lot of things. I was sleeping on the switch big time there.
Well,
I was too concentrated on my own self.
Yeah.
You weren't thinking long term. See, you could have just sold the coat, and see, you would already been sitting on this mint on top of all this money you're about to make. Now that you're over here at Impact
Not gonna
Wrestling,
lie.
see,
Not gonna
I was
lie.
trying to- we
If
were
he
trying
just
to
said
look
he had
out for you, man.
if he said he had the jacket still, I was gonna say, hey, I'll make you an offer with all this podcast money. that
I
I'm
give
making.
you $5 a whole.
Just want to tell you
$5.
that Michael from iSpot Wrestling bought a Jerry Lawler robe worn during the USWA time,
Okay,
and I think it was up for $10,000
Oh,
just for a robe.
dude.
So
If you go
imagine
back and-
how much my hearse is worth right now.
yeah.
Oh, dude, I can only imagine. I mean,
we painted
shit, if
like
you-
3 times already. We changed about 10 windshields on it.
Hey, you imagine having that thing sitting outside your house? Oh,
What would you do with it? What would you do with it? Like,
I'd drive around with it.
I'd
I'm
drive it
thinking,
around.
I'm calling the scrap yard. Just pick it up. Give me 300. That's what it's worth, you know.
He said,
But
"Give me
there's a little
$300
voice
for the
inside
hearse."
myself saying, "No, it's gonna, something's gonna happen with that." But in the meantime, that's another point I wanted to touch. I'm trying to
Please do.
be away. I just want to have like the Frankenstein, just everything Frankenstein, you know. So the hearse is done with Taker, the Hearn is done, the body bag were done. I want to go different. I want to go another route. So there's good chances that I'm going to call this scrapyard guy, unless a good proposition come in on creative side that makes something at least, you know, like I spoke about that with Boulere and David LeGray
I was
on their
listening.
show. So I got a new finish now. It's
I wanted to ask you about that, man.
yeah,
the electric chair, correct?
Yeah, the electric chair. Yeah. So building up around my own character and staying away from character that were done before or moves that were done before. Having my own moves and having my own sets of moves and related to my character.
What made you choose the electric chair, or what used to be known as the Bubba Bomb?
Well, I was thinking of the electric chair because you know, it's something that we use a lot in our videos, and I do. That's what the entrance that we had at the Madison Square Garden in New York.
I remember.
It got over like crazy, like just sitting in the chair up on that stage and Destro with the electric cables and with the sparks, and that got over big time. So I just think that this is really part of the Frankenstein character, and I felt, okay, I gotta have that finish where it's the electric chair. So I was thinking of moves that could sound like the electric chair. And the it was like Destro suggested a few things. One of them was the earthquake, Walter Otto Vance, you know, jump, sit in the chest.
Yep.
It was also Yokozuna's finish, sort of, from the second rope.
The bonsai bomb.
I didn't want to be sitting on the guy. I made the last decision. I chose the Bubba Bomb because I thought it could happen from anywhere fast, and too many guys that are, you know, jumping the ring or whatever, something quick, and you could hit it from anywhere, and you could hit it on anybody. It's not fun when you have a finish where this guy is too big, you know, you have to change with, let's say, the Road Warriors with the Doomsday. If they had like a guy like it was super, you know, not agile, was super big, or, you know, was not good to hold on to his weight, they have to, they couldn't flip him around, or he was taking a flat back bump, or there was doing another finish. So you don't want that to happen. You want to be able to hit it on anyone and everyone if possible. So that's the
Makes
reason
sense.
why I chose this. The other one could have been done too, but I think it was less impactful. It was less good.
Well, I
think
like
this-
it. Hopefully,
this-
I get to see it when I come see you in Dallas, man. Like I said, I'm
And-
glad you brought that up because it was definitely something I wanted to touch on because you brought up that you brought it up on Busted Open. You know, Dave LaGreca and Ryan McKinnell happen to be past guests of this fine show as well, man. So
Now we just
we're-
need
we're-
Bully.
No, but I was happy because I asked
Tell
Bully
Bully to
Ray,
come on.
I asked Bully Ray if I could use his move, and
I heard.
one of his trademark move, and he took it with pride. He was not offended by it. So I gotta say, I got a really good relationship with Bully Ray. I got a lot of respect for him, for what he's done in the business. I think he's super smart. I think he knows what he's doing, and I just got so much respect for him, and so I didn't want to just go about it and not telling him. So it was really
Perfect
cool.
place to do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, man, like I said, I like it. Like I said, I completely agree. I listen to Busted Open all the time. Like I said, Dave's a past guest of the show. We had him on before his first battle with Thunder Rosa because we sponsored the fine folks over there at Mission Pro for that show. And then Ryan McKinnell has been on with us multiple times at this point too. So, like I said, man, I was listening to it, so that was definitely something that I had to bring up. Well, man, I've kept you for quite a long while, but before I let you go, since I said I was wearing the shirt, I thought before we switch over and talk about the UFC side of things, once we let you get out of here, I thought I'd throw a little throwback to those who are maybe a little newer to knockouts at 3 counts. I mean, you gave us these fine shirts. Why don't we give them a throwback to me and Tony Thunder's little promo for these shirts? Go get you a PCO shirt at Pro Wrestling Tees.
Oh yeah, and my new shirts. I haven't sent you the new ones. It's one that's all the Frankies. You got PCO Perfect Creation one, or the French Canadian Frankenstein, and then you have like the Boris and the other ones that played that part. So that's a cool one. You got the Cult of PCO. You got a one which is great, the Incredible PCO, which is like almost like Hulk. And you got Destro with the cable. It's a super nice one, and made by Dog Hills, I believe. And another one that I've got 4 that I bring with me on the road everywhere, and that are in PW Pro Wrestling Tees for sale. And the Cult, the Frankies, the
Hell yeah, get you a
PCO.
shirt.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, get you a shirt. Corey, we're going to have to get you and J-Bone a shirt.
Yeah,
like I said, everybody
definitely.
check out this throwback from our old friend, Mr. Tony Thunder. I'll show you this clip real quick. Hang on. All right. Reset. There you go.
And Tony Thunder. And this is from Knockouts and 3 Counts. As you can see, look what came in the mail today.
Oh, yeah.
We got the PCO Monster Mania t-shirts.
Running wild on you.
It's running wild. I can feel the electricity already, man. If you watch the show that we just finished,
Where would we get a shirt like this if we wanted to get it?
you need this running wild through you too. Check it out. Pro Wrestling Tees. Check out PCO, the Ring of Honor World Champion. And while you're at it, check out the link that's in this video, and you can check our interview with the Ring of Honor World Champion, the Monster PCO.
Yeah, see that? I can do that once in a while.
Look at you, you're a natural.
It's awesome, man.
Hey man, we
Sorry,
appreciate it.
I didn't wear the KO's t-shirt that you sent me.
No, it's all good, man.
I wear it all the time when I go to the gym. It was just
I appreciate it.
I was just doing so many things tonight, and just got focused on the 9 p.m. So I didn't want to miss
Busy
it.
guy. He's a
Hey,
busy
no,
guy.
I appreciate it. We appreciate the time.
Yeah.
Like I said, man, let everybody know where they can find you, and we'll let you get out of here.
Yeah, man, it's pretty much on all social platforms. Twitter, PCO is not human. Instagram, PCO is not human. Facebook, PCO is not human. And I've got my personal Facebook, which I shouldn't give because it's already loaded with 5,000 people. So there's no point having you waiting there because it's just been crazy. But you can subscribe and see tons of video on my YouTube platform, which is PCO Pierre Carl Ouellet.
Which, if you're checking this out on YouTube, will be in the description.
Cool. Yeah, it's really building up right now, my YouTube channel, and coming up with new content is going to be incredible. So make sure you don't miss any of that, and subscribe right now to the PCO Pierre Carl Ouellet channel.
I like it. I'm subscribed to it. Corey, you need to make sure you hit that motherfucking subscribe button. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button over here to Knockouts in 3 Counts, make sure you do that. Because hell, when we go to Dallas, we always shoot these vlogs. Like I said, we'll have to get a workout in. I'll have to see if I can survive a PCO workout.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Looking forward to it.
Can you hook them up to the electricity though? Can you do that for us? Let's just see that.
Yeah, I'll bring the car battery, the cables.
Yeah,
and
that's what we want to
take some shocks, before we train.
Our fearless leader.
Hell yeah! If I don't have the straight static shock here, I'm not ready.
No, that's one of the gifs that I see all the time when I put the cables on my throat. Ring of Honor. When we shot that, I see that quite often. It's a cool one. Can't wait to redo it with Destro eventually by my side on a huge pay-per-view. That'd be awesome.
Hell yeah, man. I can't wait to see it, and hopefully we will be back in the building for it. Like I said, I was in the building at Madison Square Garden. I'm like I said, we're always appreciative of the time, man. And like I said, now that this fucking pandemic is starting to open back up, it'll be cool to actually finally be able to meet in person, because we've tried to set that shit up at like 5 different Ring of Honor shows and fucking everything else. And then the pandemic fucked that up. So, yeah, man, it'll be cool to link up in Dallas.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the time, and it's always a blast. I'm always having fun with you guys.
Hey man, I try to give you a little something different.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like the mood. Super cool.
Hell yeah, brother, man. Well, until next time, we'll catch you.
Have fun. Take care.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes, sir. All right,
PCO is the man, ain't he?
Cool motherfucker.
He is, ain't he, though? What are your guys' thoughts, J-Bone? This is your first sample size of PCO. What do you think?
Dude, what a guy. That guy is you always got your image of these guys on TV and on the YouTube channels and whatever it's going to be, right? And then you talk to the guy in person. He's super down to earth, cool as fuck, but like there's still that smidget of what you see on TV. So it's like, at any second,
chiming in from Canada. We appreciate
at any second, you're expecting him to like bust out with some
electricity. Make sure you share it out and let
shit.
the people in Canada know to hit that motherfucking subscribe button and the like button and the comment button and all those. We appreciate you so much, Sophia.
That guy's the man. Very cool, man. Looking forward to
it. I had a good time with it, Corey. What'd you think of round 2 for you with PCO? Now that we've got all these new things to talk about, like Impact and
not
GCW.
Mistaken, that's actually round 3, if I'm not mistaken, with PCO. I believe we've had him on 3 times since I've been on the show, if I'm not mistaken.
Shit,
but either way, he's always been a great show. He always keeps it entertaining, man. He always has something new going on. And like I had mentioned in his short little internet break, he is doing nothing but positive moves for his career. I feel like with the whole way that Ring of Honor played out, he couldn't have done much better stepping right into Impact and doing his thing. So it's just shout out to PCO, and it's always great having him on. So.
And thanks for giving us the time right after you're on Busted Open and shit. See, that's why you guys got to hit that subscribe button, because you never know who's going to show up in that Zoom box, okay? I'm just saying. But as I mentioned in the description, we also had a UFC this weekend. And, yeah, man, did you get to watch the fight since you were busy riding the snowmobiles and shit?
Not snowmobile, side-by-sides. And, no, I did not get to watch the pay-per-view portion.
Look at this hot damn. This fucker wants to talk about nothing but MMA, and he didn't even watch the fight.
Let me write this one down.
Circle it in red. Corey
I
didn't
know.
but Kathy did.
What I did do though is I watched. There was literally no internet to be found. Like the only way, it was my cousin's house that they all of a sudden moved to up north. If you guys hear this, shout out Jeff, shout out Jeffrey. Your guys' accommodations were great, but the lack of internet was a little rough on my end. I had absolutely zero signal, just enough to send a text message back and forth. That was it. I couldn't even get YouTube videos, and I could once in a while get Spotify to work out in the woods because I'd get it far enough away from people where I'd get signal again. So it was like that up there in that rough country. But that being said, as soon as I made it home, I did start to feel a little sick. Today I started to feel a little bit better, thank God, but got around to at least watching the prelim portion of the card. There's a couple good fights on that I can at least bring up, but to be honest with you, I was going to rely with you guys on the pay-per-view portion.
Well, I was watching with past guest of the show, Darius Solo Beast Estelle, before I got fucking sick. Because yeah, just for anybody that has COVID, hey, you should probably stay the fuck away. But I'm just saying. But I'm just
not Solo Beast, throwing that out there.
No, I don't. No,
well,
I'm not saying
you threw his name and then
I don't. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that. I'm just making. I'm making a joke because I got scared because it's like, holy shit, I got sick out of nowhere. I'm like, oh no, but. No, I do not have COVID. I tested negative for all that. Just for anybody that's wondering what I said, I was just making a joke because Sunday I felt like hell on earth. But I was watching it with Darius Solo Beast Estelle, and we had a good time watching it, dude. But holy shit. If I told you before that fight happened that Francis Ngannou was going to win by taking him down 5 fucking times and win by decision, hot damn.
I was able, because I was not about to spend $70 after the fact to watch these fights when I already knew the result, but I was able to watch some pretty in-depth YouTube videos that may or may not have cut out the time clock, but let you watch the whole fight. So with that being said, who would have thunk, right? Like we had all everybody going into this was like, if Gon's able to push him into the deep water, it's going to be nothing but a Gon fight. He's going to be able to just go out there and showcase his superior skills. And that was not the case, man. That was not even remotely the case. It was actually the complete opposite. You seen that Ngannou wasn't able to get much going in the first 2 rounds. And then from there, transitioned into what I've been seen on the internet referred to as a couple of people refer to as what is it? He's a Nurmagomedov. All of a sudden, he can take everybody down and control them for the whole fight. And it was just
I mean, let's not forget he was fighting a kickboxer, but
yeah, but would you have ever expected?
Fuck no, but I'm just saying, do you think he does that against an actual heavyweight wrestler?
No. Would he go?
That's my own. That's the point I'm making.
Yeah, but even the fact that
I'm not taking anything away from it. I'm just saying, let's not act like in his future fights we're gonna see Francis Ngannou taking motherfuckers down 5 times a fight. I think we might see more wrestling incorporated. I definitely think that has been shown that not only can he do it, he can control them. And I mean, not to mention the fact that he did that with the fact they're saying that his MCL and all that shit was torn too. That's gnarly.
That's such a big layer of this fight that didn't even get, like how I had discussed that this fight was such a big onion for Ngannou, that he had so much stacked against him. That was not even knowing that he had a whole ripped apart knee and was looking at surgery. And I watched him on the Ariel Helwani show, and it's such a severe surgery that he's really contemplating whether or not he's even going to get it, because he doesn't want to be down for the 8+ months.
Right.
You know, and for somebody of that stature and stuff to go into that fight and just hope a little nylon knee brace holds his 265-pound ass up. That's crazy. And then to try to be able to wrestle and implement the power needed to get somebody of Gane's size and stature down with a bum knee, it just is that much.
Can't argue
And then
that.
I agree, man.
realistically, the whole thing though, and I've seen it brought up by a lot of people. Shout out to Weasel. He's one of the best MMA breakdown channels on YouTube. Anybody who's unfamiliar with him, go sub to that channel. He does some of the best breakdowns in MMA. He did a really good breakdown on this fight because what I feel as though a lot of people are forgetting to mention, I guess you could say, is realistically, this whole fight, in my eyes, boils down to that one moment in the 5th round where Gane was on top, got transitioned by Ngannou, got swept, and Ngannou ended up on top and then controlling the rest of the round and won the fight because of that. That's how close Gane was to being able to win the title, even though everything had played out the way it did and everybody's chanting Ngannou. Gane showed that he was real. He showed that he does have some holes in his game, and we kind of figured somebody who's only been in MMA for 3 years would have those holes. It's just whether or not they would be exposed. But realistically, shout out Gane. He did a great job. He could have did a little bit better with his wrestling defense, and especially his work off his back to be able to get up.
Yeah,
he should have drew some inspiration from somebody like Derek Lewis, where he should have just had that not give a fuck mentality at some point, because just being controlled was not a good move. And we know Ngannou's not some, top level wrestler. So it definitely exposed some holes, but I feel Gane is definitely still going to be one of the top contenders.
Well, dude, he's still so young. That's what I was going to say. I mean, yeah, he lost, but he's still so young. But J-Bone, you were watching the fight, man. What do you think?
That was the last thing he expected, right? I mean, it's the last thing we all expected.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody expected.
He says he was expecting it coming in. He said in the in the post fight, he said he did, but I doubt it.
I doubt it, man.
I mean, if you
go ahead.
No, if you were expecting it, right, then why the hell did that?
Why were you not prepared for it?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and we all know, considering.
I mean, not to say that if a guy that's that size now, just to put it in perspective for you guys, because I know neither of you two met the guy. The guy's fist is bigger than my fucking head, and I got a big ass head. So now imagine that guy gets both of his big old gorilla mitts around you, and then decides, you know what? I'm gonna throw your ass. Guess what? Yeah. Usually, if he says I'm gonna throw your ass, guess what? Yeah. He's gonna throw your ass. I'm just saying. Right. But go ahead. Yeah. What were your thoughts?
I like to check the Twitter feeds on like the DraftKings sports books and the betting sports books on these kind of fights, man. I seen, and I don't know that it's correct. I have no way of knowing the exact stats on this, but somebody tweeted, and I don't even know how they know it, that 41% of the bets made on Ngannou were made for a first round KO.
No shit.
41%. So then that just goes back.
Could you imagine how much money you'd have made if you'd have bet on him by decision?
Nobody expected this fight to go 5 rounds, yet alone nobody expected him to be wrestling this guy this whole time. You know what I mean? It's for him to say that. I mean, like you said, if that's what he expected, why wasn't he prepared?
I agree. I think we're going to see Ciryl Gane back sooner than later, because I mean, it's not like there's a ton of contenders as a heavyweight. The other fight, obviously, that we got to talk about. I'll talk about this
before we jump fights, though. I do want to get your guys' thoughts. What's going forward with Ngannou? We know that the whole thing.
Well, he's not fighting for the rest of this year, for sure.
Yeah.
You think it is a for sure? Do you?
Oh
really
yeah, fuck yeah, I do.
I think they got to give him a high-profile, big money
fight.
Fuck
yeah, I think 100% he's not fighting again this year, especially after listening to the press conference. Because that's the thing, dude. The fact that Dana didn't put the belt around him, didn't show up to the press conference, didn't acknowledge the fact that he won. Clearly, he's probably. I mean, I'm just saying. Chances are he's probably not happy Ngannou won. So now he pretty much knows I've got no choice, but I'm going to have to pay this guy more because now he has my belt. Otherwise, what are you going to do? It's like Ngannou said. He goes, I don't really care about the belt unless they're going to pay me. He goes, I'll wait until they strip me.
Yeah.
And then go elsewhere. And I don't think Dana wants that anymore either, because what are you going to do? So you strip him. What are you going to do? Just put the belt on Gane, who he decisively beat with a blown out knee? That kind of diminishes your champion then at that point, because after that point, who else is there to put it on? You can't put it on Derek Lewis because Derek Lewis already got beat up by Gon. You can't. I mean, dude, there's nobody else besides Gon. So I feel like at this point, Francis Ngannou has basically forced the UFC's hand, but I feel like it's going to end up being something that's going to be played out over the next year. I really do.
Did you guys catch John Jones' tweets during the fight and after the fights?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about that stuff.
I mean, I think he's salty too, but I mean, at the same time,
yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. If we're talking about what's the fight to make it heavyweight, that's the only fight at heavyweight that anybody gives a fuck about at this point.
Right. At this point, dude, you got to respect John Jones' fighting game, right? He's probably the best ever. But at this point, for all the shit that you've been through, all the shit that you've done, you probably should just stay out of it at this point because your tweets don't.
You don't want to see him come back?
I do, but all the bullshit that he's done and his star power, for me personally, his star power has diminished because of all the bullshit that you've done.
I agree with that.
It's really not. You shouldn't be tweeting about the fight at this point. Just stay the fuck out of it.
I don't know.
Or bring your ass back and prove it.
Well, he said that he wants to fight, though. That's the thing. He's saying that he wants to fight. I think
we all want to do shit in life, but if we can't stay out of fucking trouble, you have no business being there.
That's fair.
Fair is fair.
Yeah, that is a very valid.
That's point. Very fucking fair because
it's hard to argue with.
Like I said,
especially somebody of John.
There's really not because I know at first. I mean, whether they were arguing about money, you can't tell me that if all that shit that happened earlier this year hadn't happened, that the UFC wouldn't have wanted to try to put that together. Now, I feel like at this point, if Ngannou sits this out and it goes to next year, I mean, realistically. I mean, that's going to be the only real big money fight that anyone's going to want to see as far as the UFC heavyweight division is going to go. And then you got to imagine that whatever those new contract negotiations are going to look like, he's going to want something to do with that top ranked money and that Tyson Fury thing. But that being said, man, although I'm all for go get your money and the spectacle of it, I think would be so dope. Part of me also understands why Dana wouldn't want nothing to do with it because I'm going to be honest with you, if they do that in the straight boxing rules, holy God, Tyson Fury is going to beat Francis Ngannou's fucking ass, in my opinion.
I think so too.
In a straight boxing match, I think he's got a puncher's chance to knock him out. But if we're talking straight boxing, oh my God, Tyson Fury is going to beat his ass.
Yeah.
Unless the only thing I think that might make it a little closer is if they do some kind of hybrid to where like they do them in like MMA like the MMA training gloves, like they did for like the Triangle Triad. But even at that, I don't see Tyson Fury agreeing to anything like that. And
I could see him talk that shit about agreeing to something like that, but I could see his top rank handler saying, "No, we're not allowing you to do."
I mean,
that.
why would he though? Why would he? Like, you're coming into my world, dude.
I was going to say, there's not really much to gain for Fury to do that.
What's he gaining from it? He's pretty much fighting down, if you think about it.
He is, dude. I mean, I hate to say that because he is the UFC champion. I mean, it's more, to me, that's more of a legacy fight.
I disagree because if you look at
I'm not saying, well, that's what I was trying to finish in my point.
Who his current level of competition would be besides Francis Ngannou? Usyk?
Dillian White?
Dillian White, who's coming off of he's not on the biggest of hot streaks right now. If I'm not mistaken, he's like 2-2 in his last 4 or something. So,
no, but that's the fight they're looking to make because Dillian White's been.
Yeah, because he's been hanging around the top forever. You're telling me a Francis Ngannou?
I'm not saying that fight wouldn't be money, and I'm not saying I don't.
Buys way more attention. It would be bigger for both guys' careers.
Sure, but I'm saying in the sense of while Fury is still active in his career, while Ngannou is still active in his career, and Fury still has every intention of staying heavyweight champion boxer. There's a lot more to gain from Ngannou to go in there and maybe land a shot and knock him the fuck out than there is for Fury to go fight the UFC champion. Because like I said, to me, I see this as more as like a legacy fight for Tyson Fury. To be able to say that you defeated the standing current UFC heavyweight champion is something that no other boxing champion is going to be able to have said happen. That being said, that's why I say I also understand from the UFC standpoint why they don't want to do that fight, because if he goes in there and Tyson Fury just knocks him the fuck out, look what happened with all that Tyron Woodley stuff. Even though this is on a much more upscale when you're talking about both heavyweight champions, it still is going to be looked at as boxer A versus boxer B here.
Mm-hmm.
But does the UFC give a shit anymore? Because they've clearly shown that they don't really have that much interest in doing business with the guy anymore. Like the whole way Dana White went about handling his business with not wrapping the belt around the champ. You've wrapped the belt around a ton of people you didn't want to win, Dana White. Why isn't Ngannou that serious? Is it because his whole thing is something that's legitimate in fighter pay and health care and stuff like that? Is that why you didn't want to go that route? Is because you felt as though he was bringing up legitimate issues, that your company knows is an issue?
To piggyback off of what you just said too, the numbers have come out. Like the combined total for everyone that was paid on UFC 270 was 1.8 million.
Yep.
That's the whole card, including the other title fight.
Everybody? The entire
card combined was 1.8 million. Dude, Moreno and them, even though this is their third fucking fight, only got paid 160 and 150.
Yep. It was insane. It was absolutely insane.
They got to do better.
How do you have 3 title fights?
How do you charge $70 for
70? It's 80.
You got to include your taxes. How do you upcharge all this shit and as a growing sport and you're still what 10, 15, 20 years behind on fighter pay, dude? Come on, man.
It makes me more excited for the events like Bellator coming this Friday or this Saturday than it. It makes me at least appreciate what they're trying.
You and I, Corey, are going to be a little preoccupied come this Saturday, fam. We got some betting to do. Motherfucking Royal Rumble is this Saturday.
Bring that cash, baby. Bring that cash.
Motherfucking Royal Rumble. I'm trying to get me some bread in this bitch. We were talking about the Royal Rumble with PCO. I'm trying to get me some bread in this bitch. If you guys tune in this Thursday, we are going to have our full Royal Rumble preview and make picks as to who we want to see, maybe as surprises and all that. Hell, PCO will go on my leaderboard now. But yeah, man, like I said, we're going to talk Royal Rumble on Thursday. But I need some bread, damn it. I got a car payment to make and shit. And they took a whole week of my vacation. So at least if I can make the money back, I'd feel a little bit better. But with that being said, the other thing we got to talk about from UFC 270 is the fight between Moreno and Davidson Figueiredo, which I'm going to just say right here, and this is not taking shit away from Davidson Figueiredo. Brandon Moreno won that fucking fight, in my opinion, but just saying. J-Bone, before I give my thoughts, I want to know what you thought since you watched the fight. I want to know if you saw the same thing as me.
I'm looking at Corey. He's like ready to go.
Going crazy over
here.
Man. Because I watched it, like I said. Yeah, go ahead, J-Bone.
It was a great fight, man. Awesome fight. Honestly, these guys, every fight that these guys put on has been potential fight of the year for me. Great fight. It just, dude, not a unanimous. It wasn't unanimous.
That was not a unanimous decision. No way in hell.
Very, very splinter of least amount possible. It was a split decision, but it should have went the other way. I just think it should have went the other way. I don't see what they saw. But hey, like they say, you can't leave it in the hands of the judges.
If there were ever a case for somebody to get an immediate fucking rematch, it better be Brandon Moreno. Right? Because if you're giving Davidson Figueiredo a rematch after what Brandon Moreno did to him last time, because Figueiredo now, before I give my thoughts on the fight itself, let me preface this by saying all respect to Davidson Figueiredo. I'm not saying that he didn't stick in that fight and shouldn't have been considered for winning that fight. Can't say that. They fought 5 rounds. It was a damn good fight. All I'm saying is I felt in multiple situations in that fight that Brandon Moreno controlled the pace of that fight, and I felt towards the last rounds 4 and rounds 5, I thought that Brandon Moreno had more energy in those rounds. To me, he seemed to be going for the fight more. They both landed great shots. Clearly, Davison Figueiredo going over there to Henry Cejudo helped him a shit ton. I'm not even going to try and say it didn't because he looked great. But all I'm going to say is if there is anything right in the world, if there is a such thing as fight gods, like people like to say all the time, if Brandon Moreno doesn't get an immediate rematch, I don't know what the fuck UFC matchmaking is, because again, I have no disrespect to Figueiredo. I'm not even mad that he's the champion. I'm just saying, if we're giving an immediate rematch to fucking Figueiredo after he got choked out, after that fight that we watched on Saturday, there better be an immediate fucking rematch for Moreno, or I don't give a shit about the flyweight division.
Hey, at this point, let's just do a best of 7 series at this point, because it was
I have the fights when we link up for the Royal Rumble. When we link up for the Royal Rumble,
full cast, because the YouTube version was spotty. You know, they usually are. You know, anybody who may have missed the pay-per-view, you can go look it up on YouTube, same as I did. But that being said, man, I felt the same way. Only thing, so I was at up north, so I was getting the spottiest of internet I was
at up north.
I was able to look at
the north. I was at the place in the north.
In
the up north, not just the north, but I was in the up north.
For anybody of the Michigan descent, they will know exactly what I'm saying when I'm saying up north.
I know where up north.
But that being said,
where is up north though? Where did you guys go?
Harrison Township, I believe, was the name of it, if I'm not mistaken. It was Lenawee County, if I'm not mistaken. Way the fuck up there.
All that matters is it was up there.
It was so up there that it's when you go to look at Google Maps to see where you are, you're just in a big patch of green. There isn't even like roads and shit. You're just in the green area. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. I'm there. But that being said, I was able to load tweets like one every 45, 60 seconds, you know, roughly a minute to load a single like bit of data. I was able to see the fight stats, and I've seen that they had ruled the 3 knockdowns for Figueiredo, and I was being such a big Moreno fan, like I had mentioned going into the fights Thursday, it scared me. I knew Figueiredo had a ton of power, and I was super worried. I seen that stat come out, and I was like, damn, he's the new champ. He got the knockdown, so on and so forth. It makes sense. He got the couple takedowns. And then, to Kyle's point, I get home, I watch the fucking fight, and I'm like, I don't know that I agree that those were even knockdowns. I think 2
That's
of those
why I said I don't know about 3 knockdowns.
One was a knockdown, not 3. And then that being said, I feel like Moreno was able to apply pressure and keep Figueiredo landed some solid shots throughout the fight. Do not get me wrong.
Kathy, what'd you think on Moreno fight?
He showed an ability to get better in troubled times, especially against somebody like Moreno, who he seriously showed a lack of defense in his last fight against. That being said, I felt like Moreno did enough. I really did. I feel like we always kind of imply that there's the champion's edge, that you got to beat the champ and stuff.
God damn it.
Like, it didn't feel that they ruled it that way. It felt like it was a close enough, even fight. And especially going into what should be a 4th match between the two, you see that Moreno got the finish in his last fight. Davison Figueiredo didn't finish, didn't even really look remotely close to finishing Moreno in the fight.
You just hit on a point that I have to talk about, because it was literally the thing that I was fucking screaming at the TV. I say this all the time. If there's no champion's advantage in a fight, then what the fuck is the point to being the champion? If there's no champion's advantage in a fight, then what the fuck is the point to being the champion? I was always taught when I came up fighting that if you fight a guy and it's a championship fight or something like that, and it's close, it's like the rule in baseball. Tie goes to the runner. In a championship fight, there needs to be, if it's close like that, there needs to be a little bit of something. And even fuck the fact that he was the champion. I just thought he won the damn fight. Like, I'm not saying that Figueiredo Figueiredo banged with him. This is a much better fight. But like you just said, if we're giving Figueiredo a rematch after he was submitted, not beat, finished,
Yep.
how the fuck does Brandon Moreno not get one after a decision like that where they beat the hell out of each other for 5 rounds? Not to mention, if you're not going to go with that fight, what the fuck else is there really for you to do at 125?
Well, your next logical step would be Kai Kara France or
Kai Kara
Askarov.
France doesn't deserve a title shot before Brandon Moreno.
Okay, well, that's that. They already have the matchup between him and Askarov, which would be the arguable other number 1 contender. But he hasn't been active enough in the last year and a half where you could argue for him to step in either. You got Alexander Pantoja, kinda worthy.
There's nobody else that has as strong a case as Brandon Moreno.
Exactly, not to the same level, and it honestly not to the same level of excitement. Knowing what we have seen now play out over 3 fights, knowing what we would probably see going into a 4th, in my eyes, there's not much expectation from either one of those guys that it will play into a fight the way that a Brandon Moreno and
Figueiredo
and a Figueiredo fight would go.
And like I say, I think that's the fight to make. I mean, you talk about that's the fight to make. That's the fight everybody wants to see. And if you want any legitimacy at 125, you can't have a champion until this is settled. Because Figueiredo, whether he wants to pump his chest out, say whatever you want, whatever, you can't feel like you just like you could feel happy that you won that fight, but you can't feel like you're like the definitive winner because you're still tied at 1 apiece.
Well, he said that after the fight in the post-fight interview that
he said he'd give him a rematch. Said he wanted to fight him in Mexico.
Yeah,
so
he said he'd do a 4th fight. So
that's pretty fucking ballsy. If Figueiredo does that,
he also immediately redacted that through his agent. So
that's why I said if you got balls enough to do it in Mexico and you beat him, all respect in the world to Davidson Figueiredo. But as we ride off into the sunset here, I'd be remiss if I didn't at least give a shout out to our boy, the cowboy himself, Cody Stamen, who rode in against one of Khabib's fucking cousins. And yeah, it didn't exactly go very well. Yeah, that fight was quick and he got caught. But hey, we still fuck with Michigan around here. There's not really a whole lot to say about that fight because it happened so quick. Shout out to Nurmagomedov. I think he's going to be a problem at that weight class. You're not, like I said, I'm 100% with you. Like I said, we all love Cody. Cody, when you hear this, you got to come back on the show. See, Kathy wasn't watching when you were on the show the first time. So we got to do this again. But I've been flapping my gums now for an hour and 20 fucking minutes. That's about enough for me on a Tuesday. We got to pick who's going to be your big winner on Thursday for this Saturday's Royal Rumble. I'm just going to say here, I'm going to call it out here on the show, knock on wood before I fucking stick my foot in my mouth. I'm going to win both them motherfucking pots this weekend. I need some damn money since I had to sit here at the crib and all this shit this week.
You're going to see me next Tuesday on the show with 2 belts over my shoulders and a bunch of money in my hand. I'm going to win the whole thing.
Belts, motherfucker. We're going to be calling me the damn belt collector in this bitch. See, I already got one here. Listen, I'm adding belts, motherfucker. We're going to call me Kyle 2 belts. Fresh to death, 2 belts, motherfucker.
If you're so confident, bring that belt with you. We'll put that on the line, too.
Hell no. This bitch is signed by Stone Cold Steve Austin. You can kiss my ass. I don't give a fuck if you win or not. I'll fight you for it. But in the meantime and in the in-between time, I guess that's as good a place as any. Learn about that electric chair and stay out of it because it might sting a little bit. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and come see us this Thursday. Peace.